In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Dear listeners, today we are going to share with you the life story of a woman whose name shines like a star in the history of Islam. A woman who was the very first to believe in the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who sacrificed her wealth, her comfort, and her entire life for the sake of Allah and His Messenger, peace be upon him. A woman whose loyalty, faith and sacrifice can never be forgotten. She is none other than Ummul Momineen, the mother of the believers, Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anhu. In this story, we will take you through her blessed life, from her early years to her marriage with the Prophet, peace be upon him, her sacrifices for Islam, the difficult years of hardship, the sorrowful year of her passing, and the truth about why her funeral prayer was not offered. So hold your heart and listen carefully to this emotional story until the end, so that our love for Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anhu grows deeper and we learn the lessons hidden in her life. Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anhu was born into a noble and respected family of Quraysh. From her childhood, she was known for her pure nature, her honesty, and her gentle heart. The people of Makkah gave her the title of Al-Tahira, the Pure One. She was among the wealthiest women of Makkah. Yet despite her immense wealth, pride never touched her heart. She cared for the poor, the widows, the orphans, and always helped those in need. Her generosity and kindness were well known throughout Makkah. At the same time, there was a young man in Makkah whose truthfulness and honesty were unmatched. He was called As-Sadiq, the truthful, and Al-Amin, the trustworthy. This was none other than our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. When Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anhu heard about his honesty in trade, she entrusted her business caravan to him. The Prophet, peace be upon him, travelled with her goods to Seerah, and his conduct amazed everyone, including her servant Maisarah, who witnessed miracles and honesty throughout the journey. Maisarah returned and told Khadija radiallahu anhu that Muhammad, peace be upon him, was unlike any man they had ever seen. He never lied, he never cheated, he remembered Allah constantly, and even the clouds gave him shade from the heat. Hearing this, Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anhu felt that this man was chosen by Allah. Soon, through her close friend Nafisa, she sent a marriage proposal to the Prophet. The Prophet, peace be upon him, consulted his uncles, and the blessed marriage took place. At that time, Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anhu was 40 years old, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, was 25 years old. After their marriage, Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anhu dedicated her entire life, her wealth and her heart to her husband. She stood by him with unshakable loyalty. When the Prophet, peace be upon him, received the first revelation in the cave of Hira, he returned home trembling, saying, "Cover me, cover me." It was Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anhu who embraced him, comforted him, and assured him with her words, "By Allah, He will never forsake you. You keep good relations with your family, you help the poor and the needy, you honor the guests, and you support those who are oppressed." With these words, she became the very first person to believe in the Prophet, the first Muslim woman, the first believer of Islam. From that day onward, she sacrificed everything she had for Islam. Her wealth was spent for the sake of spreading the truth. Her strength was used to protect the Messenger, peace be upon him, and her love was poured into the mission of Islam. When Quraysh began to torture and boycott the Muslims, when they forced the Prophet and his followers into the valley of Abu Talib, cutting them off from food and water for 3 years, Hazrat Khadija radiallahu anhu bore the suffering with patience. She gave away all her wealth to support the Muslims until she herself grew weak and frail. She never once complained, never turned away, and never left the side of her husband. Then came the year that history remembers as Amul Huzn, the year of sorrow. In this year, the Prophet peace be upon him lost two of his greatest supporters, his uncle Abu Talib and shortly after his beloved wife Khadija. The grief was so immense that it weighed heavily on the Prophet's heart. When Hazrat Khadija anhu passed away, the Prophet was heartbroken. He would remember her often, saying, "She believed in me when no one else did. She accepted Islam when people rejected me. She supported me with her wealth when people deprived me, and Allah granted me children through her." Hearing these words, the companions would also weep. Now many ask, why was the funeral prayer not offered for Hazrat Khadija anhu? The answer is simple and rooted in Islamic history. At the time of her passing, the command for Salatul Janazah, the funeral prayer, had not yet been revealed. Funeral prayer was legislated later in Medina, after the Hijrah, when Islam had established its community and collective worship. Therefore, when Hazrat Khadija anhu passed away in Makkah, the Muslims did not have the command or practice of offering Janazah prayer. This was not a neglect, nor a shortcoming, it was simply because the Sharia had not yet introduced it. This does not lessen her status in any way. In fact, her rank is far above what any ritual could add. She is the woman whom Jibreel alayhi salam brought Allah's greetings of peace to, the woman whom the Prophet never forgot, the woman who will have a palace of pearls in paradise where there will be no noise and no grief. She is the leader of the women of paradise, an eternal honor from Allah. Dear friends, the lesson from Hazrat Khadija anhu's life is clear. True success lies in sacrifice for Allah and His Messenger. She gave everything she had, yet her name lives forever. If we also want to be remembered by Allah, if we want to be among His beloved servants, then we must hold on to faith, patience, loyalty and sacrifice. Let us try to live with the purity and sincerity of Hazrat Khadija anhu. If this heart-touching story inspired you, share it with others so they too may learn from it. And for more such Islamic stories that awaken the heart and strengthen the soul, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because your one subscription gives us the strength to bring you many more stories of faith and inspiration.